Have you ever noticed how we are conditioned to be singularly focused on the results, on our output, on our productivity, what it is that we are creating in this world, for this world, and then pinning our worth to our results, our outcome? It's no wonder that as we age, we become more and more terrified of the fact that our productivity is decreasing. And so, if our productivity is decreasing and we are conditioned that our worth is attached to our results, does that mean we stop being worthy in society? That we stop having worth as a woman? I think not, darling. So let's have a conversation about that. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Al Nash, and I have been a professional life coach for the past 20 years. Today, I focus on working with ambitious, driven women to unhook out of the painful gain frequency as the high achiever and tap into a frequency of flow, ease, fulfillment, and creativity as an artist. If this is something that you are interested in, let me know in the comments and I can send you through some details of my latest program, Women Reimagined. But I really want us to talk about this focus of what is it that we are producing? You know, all the goals that we were taught to set from as far back as I can remember. It was always a case of being so obsessed with the results of whatever it is that I was doing, whether it was my school results or my certification as a dancer, then, you know, as I was aging, the results I was getting in business, the results I was getting as an entrepreneur, the results I was getting as an athlete, as an Ironman, all of these things had me so obsessed, so driven, so, in the hustle and grind mode. And when I look back now, for the most part, there was an underlying pain, like this buzz of pain throughout this journey, both physically, because everything that I was doing was mentally and physically driven to a degree. And so there was a lot of physical pain involved in my life, but also emotional pain. And what I have learned as a high achiever was that as long as I was producing, what was happening privately really didn't matter. And whatever pain was going on in my private life, I could outwork it and almost be in denial of it by just staying focused on the shit that matters, the goals, the business goals, the money goals, the racing goals, all of the things. When we delve into the high achiever from an Enneagram perspective, which is a number 3 on the Enneagram, the underlying emotion, the core driver is shame. That is the shame of not being enough, the shame of not being good enough. I mean, it's really no wonder that we are so susceptible to labels like imposter syndrome because we feel like an imposter. We feel like what people experience of us is not who we truly are. For our experience of ourselves is very different from the experience that other people have of us. And it's really hard for us to even imagine how they see what they are seeing. How could they if they knew what a mess I am on the inside, of how insecure I am on the inside, of all the anxiety that I'm carrying on the inside? And so it's easier for the high achiever to stay focused on the external productivity. Because if I just produce enough, if I just do well enough, I will earn their respect, their admiration, and I will belong as a worthy member of the tribe. I will have worth. part of the beauty of this human experience is aging. And with the aging, things change. And look, I am not going to tell you that it's all doom and gloom, darling, because I am feeling better today at 53 than what I did at 23. I am more creative. I am more in flow. I have greater levels of energy. My body is in better shape. So this is not about, the demise of the body. But I also know that one day I'm going to be 70, and if I'm lucky, 80 and 90 and even 100. And I'm not going to be producing for society the way that I am at the moment. So, does that mean that then I won't have any worth? Well, that's a lie, isn't it? Because your worth is not what you are producing in this life. Your worth is your participation in this human life. The fact that you are here, the fact that you are unique, the fact that you are the only you, that's your worth. And so, as we start delving into understanding fear conditioning, and my work uses archetypes to make it just easier to grasp and to see, and for us to deconstruct the conditioning. But when we start understanding that all of this comes from the original lie of separation, separation from God, the universe, source, whatever the word is that resonates with you, and then separation from each other, from the tribe, for which we have to fight to earn our right back into the tribe. That original lie is what is creating so much anxiety in brilliant women. But what if it's not true, darling? What if the truth is oneness? Your oneness with God, the universe, source energy. And so if you are one with source and I am one with source, doesn't it then lead to the understanding that we are one? We are all in this together and we are all connected and we all have our own individual worth. And the worth is our participation in this life experience, because this life experience is what's creating the evolution of God, of consciousness. And that's the worth. Now, I can't think of what could possibly be more worthy than that. And so, as we start embodying this truth, then our worth is absolute. And so there is no pressure. There's no more pressure to perform. And there's no anxiety that I'm going to be worth any less when I am 90 than what I am now at 53. I truly feel that it's time for women to stop the masculine focus on the production, the goals, the and I'm not saying that you can't have goals and you can't have dreams and you can't have desires. Not at all. That's part of the juiciness of life. That's part of the game that we are here to play. But what I am inviting is a shift of focus, that rather on singularly focus on the goal, you focus on the experience of the process of the journey towards the goal, allowing yourself to be surprised and delighted as you co-create with the universe and elements get brought into the equation that you weren't even thinking about before now. That instead of getting up in the morning and thinking about what your to-do list is, you decide, how do you want to experience today? And then there are actions to take during the day, but the actions are taken in an energy of enjoyment, of pleasure, of choice, intentional choice. And in this, you start living your life with greater discernment, with greater intention, with greater creativity and clarity, and that sense of, yeah, baby, this is my life. I get to live it my way. Because I know one of the things that most high achieving women call themselves are control freaks. But when that control is coming from a space of fear, that's not control. That's clinging on for dear life. Been there, done that, wore the G string. I am not here judging. But what I am here to say is that there is a different way of living. And that when you start bringing your focus to the experience instead of the outcome, your entire life will start changing. And then we will stop seeing successful people having so much pain and struggle and hardship in their private lives, because that is insanity. How can we call that success? So, my wish for you is that you find pleasure in every day and that you make that your new standard of success. Now, if this is resonating with you, if this is something that you want to go deeper in, then I invite you to have a look at Women Reimagined. I will put the link down in this description for you below. It is a 3-month embodiment journey with me where we go from remembering who and what you truly are into reclaiming your mind out of fear conditioning into empowered consciousness. We reimagine what is possible for you in this lifetime, and we start realizing it through embodiment practices in our time together. It is a one of a kind journey. This is beyond identity work, because what I have come to discover is, what is the point of creating a new identity when you are still based in fear consciousness? You are literally just swapping one mask for another instead of first hooking into empowered consciousness and then embodying the truth of who you always have been, the truth of the woman you were born to be. I do look forward to welcome you into this space. We run this course 3 times a year. So reach out to me and let's see if you are watching this at the time that the next enrollment is open. Always remember, you are the artist and the art. So make your life a masterpiece. Cheers.